Good day, students. We have completed the first two parts of the lesson, the best Christmas present in the world, the lesson which is given in Honeydew. Now I think you might have understood the first part and the second part. In the first part, the author is getting a letter. In the second part, he is reading the letter. And in the second part, two characters have come there, Jim and the German officer, Hans-Ulf. What is happening at the border where they are having a war? How they celebrated Christmas. After this, what is happening? We are coming to the third part. In the third part, after reading the letter, the author Michael, what he is going to do next? We are going to see that in the third part. And one thing I want to say to you students, all of you go through the text, read the text so that you can understand the story better. And when I am explaining, also have your textbooks in front of you. If you are not having textbook, at least download and go through. Okay, we are coming to the third part now. I folded the letter again and slipped it carefully back into its envelope. Now the author has read the letter. Again he folded and put the letter in the envelope. I kept awake all night. So whole night the author was not able to sleep. By morning I knew what I had to do. So by morning he know now what he has to do. I drove into Bridport, just a few miles away. So he has seen the address. It has been addressed as Bridport. So he drove to that place. It was only just a few miles away. I asked a boy walking his dog where Copper Beeches was. So he went there and asked, where is Copper Beeches? Now how he came to know the address here? Because this was given in the first part of the story. In the last paragraph, the letter was addressed as Mrs. Jim Macpherson, 12 Copper Beeches, Bridport. So first he came to Bridport, then he asked a boy who was walking with his dog, where is Copper Beeches? House number 12. House number 12 turned out to be nothing but a burnt out shell, the roof gaping, the windows boarded up. So, where is Copper Beeches house number 12, he asked. So when the boy showed how was the house, condition of the house. The house was totally burnt. The roof was gaping up. Gaping up means there was no roof there, and the sunrise was coming inside, and everything was burnt and everything was boarded up. Whatever was left, nothing was there, only a empty house. I knocked at the house next door and asked if anyone knew the whereabouts of a Mrs. Macpherson. So what did the author do? He knocked the neighbor's room and he asked, do you know a lady named Mrs. Macpherson who happened to live in this house? Oh yes, said the old man in his slippers. He knew her well. A lovely old lady, he told me, a bit muddle-headed, but at her age she was entitled to be, was not she? So in the neighbor there was an old man. He was wearing slippers. He came out and told, who don't know that lady? She's little bit muddle-headed. Muddle-headed means confused. And he's saying even her age also is more. Now students, remember what is her age? Her age is 101 years. Because of, when people grow old, what happens? They lose their memory, they become weak. Due to that, they get confused about everything. So she was 101 years. So, 101 years old. She had been in the house when it caught fire. So what is the old man saying? She's a little bit confused because she's also very old, and when she was in the house only, the house caught fire. No one really knew how the fire had started, but it could have well been candles. So what did the old man say? No one knows how the house caught fire, but it might be because of the candles. She used candles rather than electricity because she always thought electricity was too expensive. So the old man what he told, the house might have caught fire because of the candles. Because that old lady, Mrs. Macpherson, she always uses candles. Why she uses candles? Because she thinks that electricity costs too much, is expensive. The fireman had got her out just in time. So when her house caught fire, the fireman was there and they were able to save her life, brought her from the burning house outside. She was in a nursing home now, he told me. Burlington House on the Dorchester Road on the other side of the town. So what did the old man say? Now she is in the nursing room on the other side of the road, that is in Burlington House on the Dorchester. Now you think what is the author going to do next? He is going to the nursing home. Before we go to that, we will have two questions here. Why did the author go to Bridport? Why did the author go? Because the letter was addressed to Bridport there. So he happened to go there. How old was Mrs. Macpherson now? So how old she was? 101 years old. Where was she? She was in the nursing home. So again we will continue the lesson here. I found Burlington House nursing home easily enough. So the author was able to find the nursing home very easily. There were paper chains up in the hallway and a lighted Christmas tree stood in the corner with a lopsided angle on the top. So it was Christmas Eve there and everywhere this Christmas tree was standing, it was lighted up. I said I was a friend come to visit Mrs. Macpherson to bring her a Christmas present. So he went inside the nursing room and he told that he has come there to visit Mrs. Macpherson and he has brought her a Christmas present. I could see through into the dining room where everyone was wearing a paper hat and singing. So when the author went into the room, he saw everywhere all the people were wearing a hat and they were singing. Why they were singing? Because it was Christmas Eve. They all were singing. The matron had a hat on too. Matron here means the lady there who will be looking after the needs of the people and also the medical arrangements also will be done by her. She is called as matron. Matron is a lady who looks after the needs of the people there. And it's a nursing room. She gives the medical treatment also. Even she also was wearing a hat and seemed happy enough to see me. She even offered me a mince pie. So the matron was very happy to see the author. The author's name is Michael there. And she also gave him a mince pie, means a sweet pie. Food, especially meat, not sweet but meat. She walked me along the corridor. So she took the author through the corridor there. Mrs. Macpherson is not in with the others, she told me. So what did the matron say? Mrs. Macpherson is not with other people, she told. She's rather confused today, so we thought it's best if she had a good rest. So what did the matron say? Today I don't know what happened, she's so much confused, so we thought we'll give her rest. She had no family, no one visits. And she's having no family members and no one comes to visit her. So I'm sure she will be only too pleased to see you. She took me into a conservatory with wicker chairs and potted plants all around and left me. So what did the matron say to the author? If she's going to see you, she'll be very happy because she's having no family members and no one comes to visit her. And the author was taken to a room there, conservatory there, a room which is made of glass there and wicker chairs. The chairs which are woven chairs are called wicker chairs and everywhere potted plants were there. The old lady was sitting in a wheelchair, her hands folded in her lap. So Mrs. Macpherson, who is this old lady? Mrs. Connie Macpherson. She was sitting in her chairs and wheelchair, and her hands were folded on her lap. She had silver white hair pinned into a wispy bun. Her hair, here you see the author has addressed the hair as silver because the hair has become completely white and a bun she has tied her hair. She was gazing out at the garden. Hello, I said. So this lady was seeing in the garden and the author said, "Hello." I said. She turned and looked up at me vacantly. Mrs. Mackerson, she turned and looked at the author vacantly. Means she was thinking, is there really any person, or that day she was confused because of her age. What is her age? 101. So she was in a confused stage and she was thinking, really I am seeing a person. I went on. I found this. I think it's yours. As I was speaking, her eyes never left my face. So what did the author do? What for did he come here? He came here to give the letter to Connie Mackerson. As soon as she has seen the letter, she started seeing at the author, and when he was speaking also she was seeing at him. I opened the tin box and gave it to her. That was the moment her eyes lit up with recognition and her face became suffused with a sudden glow of happiness. So when she saw the tin box and the envelope, her eyes lit up. Means something she got remembered, as if she knows this, what is this tin box, what is inside that. She got something remembered all of a sudden. And here they have used the word her face suffused. Suffused means her face totally it was spreading with happiness. I explained about the desk, about how I found it, but I don't think she was listening. So the author explained that how he found the desk, how he opened the drawer, how he found the letter. But she was not listening. Why she was not listening? She was totally confused because of her age. She was muddle-headed. For a while, she said nothing but stroked the letter tenderly with her fingertips. For some time she did not say anything she did not say, but she was striking the letter with her fingers. Suddenly she reached out and took my hand. Her eyes were filled with tears. "You told me you would come home by Christmas, dearest," she said. "And here you are, the best Christmas present in the world. Come closer, Jim, dear. Sit down." Then suddenly what she did? She touched the hand of the author. Her eyes were filled with tears. And what did she say? Jim. Now whom she is thinking? She is thinking the person who has come, the author, to be her husband. And she told that, "You told you will be coming by the Christmas." And she told, "Now this is the best Christmas present in the world. Come close, Jim dear, sit." So she is saying, "Come closer to me and sit." I sat down beside her and she kissed my cheek. "I read your letter so often, Jim, every day." So she kissed the author and she told, "Jim, I read this letter many times. I wanted to hear your voice in my head. It always made me feel you were with me." So what she was saying, I wanted always to hear your voice. And it always, whenever I read your letter, I felt that you are with me. And now you are. Now you are back. You can read it to me yourself. Would you do that for me, Jim dear? So she was saying, always when I read that letter, I felt your voice. Now you are near me. You read me that letter. I just want to hear your voice again. I would love so much. So she's saying, if you are reading that letter, I want to hear your voice. I love your voice. And then perhaps we will have some tea. I have made you a nice Christmas cake, marzipan all around. I know how much you love marzipan. So what did she say? After you read the letter, we will have some tea and I have made a cake. You like the Christmas cake, marzipan, and we will have it. I know how much you love the cake. Now you understood now what the author has done. After seeing the letter, he simply did not leave the letter there. He has taken that letter to this lady, and that letter was the last letter which was received from her husband, which she received from her husband. It was after 17 or 21 years back, she was able to see the same letter. And the author, he was a kind-hearted man who has taken the letter to her. And what did she say? That was the best Christmas present in the world. And she thinks that really her husband has come. So with this we come to the end of the lesson. Now let us see questions here. Who did Connie Mackerson think her visitor was? Who did she think he was? Her husband. Which sentence in the text shows that the visitor did not try to hide his identity? So which sentence is saying? You can see page number 15. The last lines are saying this. So he was explaining the lady that where he has found this letter, how he purchased the table, where he has found everything. But she was not listening, but he did not hide his identity. He was saying everything. So hope students you might have understood the lesson thoroughly. Definitely go through once so you can understand clearly, and any doubts you can get it cleared. Thank you.